Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in. My name is James Barnes with Summit Mentorship, and today we got a huge announcement that's really going to have a massive impact on the Summit community as a whole. But before we get started with that, if you haven't already, go ahead and like this video. Let the algorithms know that you enjoy this type of content so it gets pushed out to more and more people out there. Also, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on all of our future content. Now, joining me today is a man who, of course, needs no introduction. Stacy, how are you doing today?
Great, James. Thanks for that. How are you?
Doing fantastic, as always.
Well, so like you said, we do have some really big news tonight, and we're going to add to the Summit Mentorship family. We're going to bring in a gentleman by the name of Billy Nale, Dr. Billy Nale, to be precise here. And this is really fun for me. I've actually known Billy since, I think, 1978 or so. So it's been a few years. Not only does he have 30 years in leadership, not only was he the inspiration that convinced me to join the John Maxwell team with him back in 2011. He called and said, I've got this idea. This is something I'm looking at. And we both became founding partners on the John Maxwell team back in 2011. So not only all of that, but he is also married to my sister. He's my brother-in-law. So this is a very exciting time. But for years now, he's been working with organizations like the FBI and other businesses and things in his community, building his leadership site of his own called BN Leadership. And today what we're announcing is we're going to merge these two together under the umbrella of Summit Mentorship. And so this is an exciting time for us. And so Billy, if you would just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you so much. It's exciting to work with you and James. I'm looking forward to what is going to take place in the future with this coming together of Summit Mentorship and Be in Leadership. As you said, I'm married to your sister, to Rhonda, and I've been a pastor for over 30 years. I've been teaching leadership for about 20 years to my staff and then to other organizations as the years went on. And I'm just excited. I'm really excited about us partnering together and the difference that Summit Mentorship can make in the lives of the people that are a part of this community. So good things are ahead. Just looking forward to it.
Awesome. And so just to give you a little bit of a taste before we further the interview with Billy, here's a little taste of some of the content you can expect to come your way as his videos start to become a regular part of our weekly schedule.
Are you ready when opportunity shows up? What are you doing today to make sure that you are growing and you are maturing so that when opportunity comes your way, you're ready for it? The Apostle Paul said, look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time. And instead of allowing the change to guide us, let us guide the direction in which we change. All I'm saying is, now is the time to start reevaluating your goals, your plans, your strategies that you set at the beginning of the year. And I would say probably focus on just one, maybe two goals, because you are much more likely to hit your goals if you focus just on one or two rather than having many. It's about staying focused. But the fifth step to regaining momentum is to start today. In other words, it's time to take action. Today really does matter.
So that was awesome stuff that we just saw, and what we're gonna do, you've probably seen that we generally push 3 videos out a week along with some other content through our other platforms like Twitter and Facebook and other places. But for this particular channel here on YouTube, it's generally 3 a week. So we're gonna start putting some of Billy's videos into the rotation. And that's kind of a sample of what you'll see. But I wanted you to get a chance to get to know him just a little bit better. And so when we were at the John Maxwell Team International Convention and where we got certified. So it's the international certification event. He told 7 questions that he would ask a leader if he could sit down with them that really help you get to know that leader. And so I thought that would be a great way to get to know Billy here. So I've got 7 questions for you. I hope you're ready. You should. It's only been 9 years, so you should remember all of them by heart. But the first one is a very good one. It's what would you say is like the best or the greatest thing that you have learned up to this point in your life?
Well, that is a great question. And there are just so many things that I have learned. But probably for me, it would be the absolute necessity for having a personal growth plan. Let me give you the story behind that, if I can take a few minutes to do that. I had moved to my second church, which was in Panama City, Florida, and the church just wasn't growing like I would like for it to have grown. I was struggling with it. A guy named Jim Chavis came into my office, and he worked for the state convention, Baptist State Convention of Florida at the time, and I was kind of sharing my frustration with him, and he looked at me, and he basically said, "So tell me what you're doing to grow. What is your personal growth plan?" And, I just kind of just looked at him and, like a deer in the headlights, just, all right, what do you mean by that? And he began to tell me that what you are doing now, or what you did back then in North Carolina, is not going to work for where you are right now. And he said, you need a plan for growth. He said, you need a plan to get better each and every day. And he is the one who actually introduced me to John Maxwell. And he handed me a tape by John Maxwell. Back in those days, it was the old Enjoy cassette tapes. And I began to listen to that. I subscribed to his Enjoy ministry of leadership tapes that went out once a month. Started attending some of Maxwell's leadership conferences, including some of Jim's leadership conferences that he did as well. But the moment that I put together a growth plan and started becoming intentional in leadership and personal development and growth, it made all the difference in the world in my success, in my leadership, in the effectiveness of the church. It did start to grow, and it was amazing. And it started out with this one idea of, what are you doing to grow? So I would say that's probably the most important lesson that I have learned in my life. That's the lesson that I intentionally now try to pass on to everybody else.
So for those of you that have been watching our videos for the last few weeks, I think you can probably see just from that first answer why we made this move to bring Billy in. He's definitely a like-minded individual when it comes to what we've been trying to do and what we're trying to grow here. So that was a good answer. So let's see what we do with this one. The question now is, that's what you learned, but what are you learning right now?
What I'm learning right now, we are in the midst of this, COVID-19 pandemic. And what I'm learning right now is you need to be prepared for change. In other words, what I'm finding out is that, as a matter of fact, I asked this question to a lot of people in my church just this past Sunday. I said, how many of you set goals and made plans for the year, 2020? And, a number of them said, we had resolutions or we set goals. And then I asked them this question. I said, how many of you planned for COVID-19? And that was a part of your goals. That was a part of your planning. And obviously, absolutely nobody did. And what I've learned that is, you always need to be growing and learning so that you can be prepared for those things that are unexpected, those things that are not predictable, but they come, because life is going to throw all kinds of changes and situations and circumstances at us. And so what I'm learning is that, I need to be prepared to make changes. I need to have the courage to make some of the more difficult decisions in a time like this. Because in times like this, for people who have their own businesses or they're leading organizations, you've got to make some tough decisions. You've had to make some tough decisions in the midst of this COVID-19 that not everybody is going to be pleased with. But it's those decisions that you have to have conviction about and say, this is the direction that we need to go. These are the plans that we need to make, and then have the courage to be able to make those decisions. And right now, that is probably the biggest lesson I am learning is what decisions do I need to make? And then I need to have the courage to be able to stand behind those decisions. And so it's a learning process. But I can see growth that's taken place as a result of it.
So if you do find anyone that says yes to answering that question that they had COVID-19 in their 5-year plan, I'd like to meet them. But that kind of prescience, we could all start betting or doing something to get a little further ahead, a little quicker.
Exactly.
But I don't think we're going to ever meet that person. So that's a good one.
It's almost funny. You mentioned people making plans. I think my plan was to go to a gym more, and the gyms still aren't open. So I'm still here trying to find out how to adapt to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've all had to make changes as a result of an unexpected event or circumstance that happened in our life. And here's what I know. This is something that has really kind of hit home with me, is that if I had not been growing and learning and preparing and practicing and having the courage in the past to make difficult decisions today, I tell you, I would probably just be stumped. But because of the growth that has taken place, I have felt prepared to be able to make the decisions that I've needed to make in these days. And because we've all had to make them.
I'd say you've raised your level of awareness, right?
Absolutely.
And I think it was Eisenhower that said that plans are, at the end of the day, generally worthless, but planning is invaluable. It's that process of just planning and thinking through that's invaluable, because you never know what the circumstances are going to be or what the outside forces are going to be, regardless, even in a non-COVID year.
Absolutely. There's things that's going to happen to us that we cannot plan for everything. And I think we're learning that right now.
Yeah. Now, you talked about making decisions in this time, and you having to make them a little more quickly. You probably don't always have all the information that you need, but you have to have the conviction to make the decision. So that kind of leads to the next question. The next question is, how would you say failure has shaped your life? Because when you're making those decisions, they're not going to always work out. So how would you think failure has been a part?
Failure, I will tell you this. I have learned more from my failures than I ever did from my successes. And the failures that I have had in my life and in the past have taught me that I need to the best of my ability, be as prepared as I can. But the truth is, we are going to fall. We are going to stumble. And so the question is, what am I going to do? When I fall, am I going to stay down, or am I going to learn from that and then use that lesson for the next time that failure comes my way, for the next time I have to make a tough decision? Failure has taught me that, yes, I fail, but my fall doesn't make me a failure. My failing doesn't make me a failure. If I do the smart thing and learn from that failure, then I am that much more mature. I am that much more ready for the next tough decision that I have to make. And one of the things that I've just learned is that, hey, failures are part of life. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I have learned over the years is that if I don't fail, it's probably because I'm not taking enough risk. I'm not doing enough for the organization. I'm not doing enough in my own life to try to become more and more effective and successful in what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I raised James on a steady diet of Zig Ziglar, and he always said failure is not a person. A failure is an event.
Yep. That's exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah.
So this is kind of an interesting question here, and this can go maybe from an author or a podcast, or maybe somebody that's physically that we could actually meet. But who is someone that you know or know of that we should know or know of?
Wow. Well, obviously, one of my favorite authors is John Maxwell. And, speakers, I've been, just diving into his material for years and years. But a couple of others that I really enjoy listening to and hearing from is Darren Hardy. I have learned a lot from him. I listen to his Darren daily every day. Just a little, usually about a 3 to 6 minute little video and word of encouragement and teaching each day. I've read several of his books, and I've learned a lot from him. Michael Hyatt is another one that I have learned from, and have really gotten a great deal out of his material. So, those are two. One person that has really made a huge change in my life is Dave Ramsey. And of, the Dave Ramsey radio show, and his Total Money Makeover book has just totally changed mine and Rhonda's life. We are totally debt free because we put into practice what he teaches. And we did have the opportunity to go to Nashville and meet him and talk to him and thank him for the difference that he made in our life. But if anybody in the Summit Mentorship group, if you've not picked up any of Dave Ramsey's books or listened to his radio program, I would encourage you to do that, because he can make a huge difference, not only in the area of finances and money management, but he also teaches a lot on entrepreneurship and leadership as well. So Dave Ramsey would be another huge one for me.
It's funny.
So
I'd say I actually have his book right here on my bookshelf, on my main bookshelf currently. And you're definitely right on that. Me and my wife were almost completely debt free. We're almost there. And you're right. He's a huge help when it comes to that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
He sure is.
And I'm a fan of the ones you named as well. And so Darren Hardy, it's the Compound Effect is his main book, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Hyatt, Your Best Year Ever. His goal planning system is as good as they get. Whether you buy the book, whether you buy his actual planner or not, the information in that book alone is very valuable. So those are some good names. I'm a fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we kind of just answered the next question. The next question is, what should we read? So I think we probably got that one with those answers. And then what is something that you do or have done that maybe we should do?
Well, let me go back to the book one for just a minute, though. What should you read? Obviously, those authors that I just spoke about. But one of the things that I have been doing the last several years that has really, really helped me in my leadership, in my relationships, is I've been reading biographies. As a matter of fact, right now I'm reading the biography of Winston Churchill. And, I just finished Thomas Jefferson, my second book on Thomas Jefferson not long ago. But I encourage everybody to read this of our founding fathers of our nation, because you can learn so much on leadership, on relationships, on how to lead a team, on values, on purpose and passion in life. You can learn so much just reading these great biographies. So that's one of the things. Really, maybe that answers two questions. That's one of the things that I do is I read these biographies. But at the same time, those are great books as well. What do I do that y'all should be doing? Was that the question again?
Yep.
Wow. One of the things that I have done that has helped me a great deal is I have organized my my schedule by a system. I literally have every day I have planned out what I'm going to do and when I'm going to do it. And it's a routine. It's a system. I get up and I have my, as a man of faith, I have I have my personal devotion time, and then I have my exercise time, and then I have filing time, I have reading time, and I literally have it worked out. And so one of the things that kind of gives me kind of gets my adrenaline or my dopamine, going is I love to check off. I accomplished a task and I check that off. But by having a system of what I do each day, I have been able to accomplish so much more. And I've learned so much. And by the way, that was a lesson I learned from Michael Hyatt, was having that type of system. And so I would encourage everybody, if you don't have a system and you're wondering why you're not accomplishing much at the end of each day, maybe it's because you're just kind of haphazardly going through your day. But if you'll put down a system and kind of a schedule and go by that, it's amazing the difference it will make and how well you use your time and how much you can get done in a shorter amount of time as well. And so that's been huge.
Some of our more recent lessons have been based around habits and trying and building habits, and that's really what those systems and processes will do. If you imagine several rings, the inner ring is your purpose; it's who you are. The middle ring would be your systems or your processes, and then the outer ring are your outcomes. And so, where we tend to fail in goal setting is we set the goals with the outcome without thinking about who we are or what those systems are going to be, and it makes it virtually impossible to ever reach the outcome, because it has to start from inside first. And so your idea of building these systems and processes to accomplish more, setting goals is not about getting goals. Setting goals is about becoming the person that can get the goal. And that only happens that only happens in the inner rings. So we're right on, right together with that way of thinking.
Another, let me answer that. A second thing that I do, and I learned this from Maxwell 25 years ago, but I file every day. I read every day and I file every day. I use Evernote. And now is my filing system. I used to use the old index card system, and now I use Evernote. And every day, before the end of the day, I will have filed something in my Evernote. Maybe it's a quote I came across that I read, or maybe it's a quote that somebody said to me that I wanted to remember, and I put that in it. And it is amazing when you're beginning to think about, if you've got a lesson you're writing, or if you've got a talk that you've got to give, and you're wanting to put together resources, quotes, thoughts. It's amazing. I have, just in my Evernote now, I have over 3,500 quotes, thoughts, just things that I have filed. And that's just in the last probably 7 or 8, 9 years that I've been using Evernote. I have probably that many on index cards too. And I can easily access those. I'm trying to bring those index cards into Evernote slowly but surely. And, but I file every day so that I can go back and find those quotes, those thoughts that I'm looking for in something that I'm preparing. It's a huge time saver.
That's awesome. So the next question is kind of bringing the community together here. So you're new to the community. So what could we do that would add value to you? We can see that you're going to add a lot of value to us. What can we do that would add value to you?
That's a good question. And I would say, number one, let us know how we're doing. Let us know if we are adding value to you. Let us know if, the material is making a difference. Give us some thoughts, give us some ideas, ask questions, because that helps us know, how can we help you? It helps us to know what you need. But it also challenges us to think better, to think higher. So I would say, first of all, just, let us know how we're doing. and ask us questions. And then, I would also say, if we are adding value, let others know about Summit Mentorship. Let others know about what, material that we're presenting, because the reason we are here is simply to try to influence and to impact and to help as many people as we can to reach their full God-given potential. And so one of the biggest ways that you can help us is to spread the word and let others know that, hey, check out this Summit Mentorship, because it's helped me a lot. It's made a difference in my life. And so that'd be a huge way that we could come together as a group, as a community.
Awesome. And James, from our standpoint, based on his answer for the index cards, maybe we can add value by just sending him a scanner.
There you go. That would be great.
But no, that was good stuff. And that was all 7 of the questions. And so anything you want to close with here, Billy?
I just want to say I am looking forward, obviously, to working with you and James. I love the idea that I'm getting to work with family. I love the idea of merging our 2 organizations together, because I really feel like that as a team, we can definitely multiply the impact that we can make with our past experiences to those ahead. I really feel like that the material that we're going to collaborate on, that we're going to put together, is really, it's going to be so helpful to those that are going to be a part of this community, to those that are going to be watching and learning as we provide these resources. So I'm excited about it because I know that what we do together is going to be so much better than what we could have done separately. And I've been doing this. I've been doing masterminds, lunch and learns, keynote speaking, seminars and workshops. I've been doing it for cities. I've been doing it for organizations, for law enforcement, for hospitals. I've been doing this for years. But I do know that together we're going to make even a much bigger difference than what any of us can make by ourselves. So I'm really excited about it. Looking forward to it.
Fantastic. We are also extremely excited to have you on board. I think it's going to be wonderful. We got some really good things coming. So I'm going to throw it back over to James to close us out and bring us in for a landing on today's edition.
Yeah, let me say one more thing before we do that. And that's for those who have been, following my Be In Leadership. I want to encourage those in the Be In Leadership community. I want to encourage you to come over and be a part of the Summit Mentorship community because the resources, the materials, the teaching, it's going to be on another level. It's going to be so much better, and there's going to be more of it that you can learn from, that you can grow from. So I'm inviting all of my Be In Leadership community, go to the Summit Mentorship Facebook page, YouTube, join those, like those, be a part of those. And I believe you are going to, it's going to make a much bigger difference in your life. So let me encourage you to do that.
Awesome. Very good. All right, James, close us out, buddy.
Well, again, first off, thank you so much for, coming on for this. Obviously, we're all really excited to have you as part of the team. I think Mother Teresa, I might be paraphrasing a little bit, but she said, you can do great things, I can do great things, but together we can do amazing things. So we're so happy to have you aboard. For everyone else out there, we got one more special announcement for all those of you who are watching all the way to the end. We will soon be releasing a full Summit Mentorship website as well, and that will be coming out in a few weeks. We'll be having our own book studies there, mastermind groups, special live streams, and much more. So be on the lookout for that. And if you want to make sure you hear about it when it first gets announced, make sure you, of course, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video. Again, make sure it gets out to as much people as possible. And hey, leave a comment below, welcoming Billy as part of the Summit, Summit family here. Because, all of us are really excited to have him aboard. But till next time, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll be seeing you again real soon.